Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got to talk about some three stories today, and three stories that are not going to be good for Democrats because these stories have huge impacts in the midterms, the next year's midterms, and in a set of year, you would argue that would be good for Democrats. They are the opposition, and the opposition party does usually very well in the midterms. And they are arguing that they are going to be doing a blue wave, but there are going to have some headwinds, not only in the Senate, but also in the House also, but they're going to also have headwinds in their own states, because it appears that they have a lot of opposition, specifically from three blue states, and today, that's what we're going to be talking about specifically today, because in the last 3 to 4 days, we got some major stories that came out that can have major impacts to the midterms in favor for Republicans. Now, I'm not saying that, Republicans are going to get lots of wins from this. No, it could backfire, like in New Jersey. That's not what we always have to keep in mind. Just because these negative stuff happens in blue states, it does not mean that ultimately it's going to happen. Like, in the end of the day, we know that New Jersey was in an affordability crisis, and they could have solved that crisis with electing Jack Ciattarelli, and they elected a word salad princess named Mikey Sherrill. That's their decision. I mean, in the end of the day, Trump derangement syndrome really speaks in these states, in these blue states, but there is a chance where ultimately, I mean, these are blue states. You already know the outcome in these blue states. They're going to elect Democrats, but who knows? You can never, ever, ever understand the mentally ill liberal who seems that a vote against Republicans is a indictment against Republicans or something like that. We know we're going to get your vote. We know you're going to vote against us. It's not like you're stabbing us or it's retaliating against us. But they seem to think that it's sort of like a retaliation. We're striking. We're fighting back against Trump. You can never understand these liberals. But ultimately, they could face some problems and some technicalities because we got some three issues in three states. Starting off with the state of Maryland, where a referendum is on the ballot. Now, we do know that Wes Moore, the governor, is very popular with the federal workers issue, because Maryland's also an issue with a state, with federal workers. We expect that they're going to have a blue wave in Maryland pretty easily. But in the ballot measure section, there is going to be a potential ballot measure that ultimately would not be good for the Democrats' minimum wage platform, which we know that this is pretty bad. A minimum wage, we have basically a referendum in 2026 that would possibly raise the minimum wage to $25 per hour, which people are not, a lot of people, especially businesses, they're not happy. We have the delusional socialists think this is an amazing idea. Heck, they will raise it $50 an hour. They'll just raise it up. But what they don't realize is the more you raise the minimum wage, the more businesses, the more people you're going to put out of business. Okay, Democrats maybe they're a little bit more illiterate, but socialists are completely illiterate to the issue of minimum wage. The more you raise the minimum wage, the more it hurts the economy. The more it hurts everyday Americans, because it's coming from our pockets. And what this would be is, I watched a video. We're not going to watch it, but basically, this lady who owns a bar, she says it's going to cost like $20 to purchase a glass of beer. $20 to purchase a glass of beer if this were to go into effect. With the current inflation that we're experiencing right now, of course. So Marylanders are very concerned about this. The socialists love this. $25 an hour? Great! But you're not. But at the end of the day, it's coming out of your pockets the other way around. We're losing $25. You think the people or working people are getting $25 per hour? No, working businesses are going to be losing money. In the end of the day, you're going to see a famine. People are going to, grocery stores are going to close. Small businesses are going to close. And at the end of the day, we'll have to rely on corporations. I don't know how that would work. But the literate Marylanders that actually know the consequences of a ballot measure like this, they understand what's at stake. And it's not like we've seen these ballot measures get struck down before. In California, last year, we saw a ballot measure, specifically Proposition 32, get rejected. Basically, Proposition 32 would raise the minimum wage. That was significantly rejected, mostly because the minimum wage is already high in California. It's a liberal state. And people know already that California is already, yet again, an expensive state, and the more we keep raising the minimum wage, the more we're going to put people out of business. So obviously, what I think about this ballot measure, we'll just do a yes/no sort of deal. I do think that this ballot measure will fail. And reason is you already have more people coming out. You got the right people coming out against it. You got independents. And even Democrats are admitting and saying, actually, this is not really a good idea. You got to be mentally stupid and crazy to actually get a $25 per hour. And in the end of the day, if this passes and things go to hell, you'll just blame Trump. Oh, Trump did it! No, you passed the stupid ballot measure. But I don't think people can be that dumb. I mean, you're right next to Virginia, who elected Jay Jones. I can never get over that, folks. Never. But Maryland, I know you're not better, but let's be real here. So I do think, obviously, the Panhandle will reject it. Frederick County will reject it. I'm pretty sure of that. The Dipper, now, I'll say Prince George's County will support it. This county up here will support it. So, oh yeah, we have Baltimore up here. So Prince George, Baltimore. The question is these three. I would say Baltimore County would reject. Montgomery County, or is this Prince Charles County? I don't know. One of them is Montgomery, one of them is Prince Charles. I don't know. I think it's difficult to say. Minimum $25 an hour. I think this one's probably going to say no. And yeah, you do have a lot of crazy people over here. So I think this is what it's going to look like at the end of the day and in the night. 3 for yes, no. 21 counties saying no to the minimum wage ballot measure. Yeah, I mean, minimum wage is popular when it's a reasonable approach, but people will draw a line. They will say, yeah, $25 an hour is ridiculous. ridiculous. That's just an agent of chaos. That is an obvious agent of chaos trying to stir chaos, and anyone that supports it, you're just dumb. You're stupid. Okay? Anyone that votes for this stupid ballot measure is just stupid. Like, you're voting for problems, and I'm saying, you want to vote for this ballot measure? Okay, yeah, fine. I don't care. Vote for it. Vote for it. I don't care. But don't go whining and crying. Don't flee to red states. Ugh, it's so unaffordable. You voted for a ballot measure. You see, Democrats, it's crazy. And I'm talking about you independents out there and libertarians. Because you go and complain, Trump's economy is so unaffordable. First of all, we're still living under the residuals of the Biden economy. The economy doesn't change like that, okay? You can make an argument that Trump's tariffs have made somewhat of an impact, but most of what we're going through is the Biden economy. We are going to notice somewhat of a change in 2026. We will notice a change. We will feel the impacts of the big, beautiful bill. We're going to feel the impacts of the Doge cuts. They don't happen immediately when we cut, all right? We don't, basically, everything Trump did this year in 2025, the executive orders, Doge, that's all getting all set up for 2026. So, but, people want their money now. People are tired. They're at their breaking point. This is their breaking point. 2025 is their breaking point, not 2024. They were desperate in 2024. They elected Trump. 2025 is their breaking point still, and they just want relief now. They're tired of waiting, but there's nothing really we can do other than, hey, we could give you a check. I mean, we could give you money, but that can drive up inflation. And then at the end of the day, you're going to be bitching and moaning and crying about it being inflation back up again. So there's really nothing we can do. We did everything in the beginning of the year. Sorry. But, we're just hoping maybe till spring we'll notice something. Summer. I don't know. But I'm just saying, you people that claim to care about the economy so much, you vote for this ballot measure, you're asking for problems. You're asking for trouble. And at the end of the day, it's Democrats. Yeah, Democrats always have. But Scott Bessent mentioned something very, 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 what I thought was very interesting. He says that inflation's always a little bit higher in blue states, and that's absolutely true. Minnesota's the most unaffordable state in the country right now. I don't even understand how I'm still here. I mean, we could go to Iowa and enjoy a happier life down there, but we're still here, and we're dying in Minnesota right now, and that's the state we'll be talking about next. But I'm just saying, hey, I mean, in California, you also have Washington, Massachusetts, Vermont. Yeah, they're scammers. And somehow these people will say Democrats are better equipped to handle the economy. No, they're not. You can make an argument that no political party right now is equipped to to handle the economy. That's a solid argument. But to say Democrats are better is just delusional. You must be smoking something very hard if you actually think that. So, although, yeah, Democrats will enjoy major wins in Maryland next year, but one loss I'm expecting them to lose is this ballot measure. I mean, Maryland will have to be, majority of the state would be mentally ill if this, like I said with Virginia, this is a sanity test, really. Virginians, let's see, a lot of them didn't pass the test. But Maryland, this is a huge sanity test. Let's see. Turnout's going to be higher, and it's going to be even higher because they're going to be all fighting to fight Trump. But yeah, I mean, let's see. I'm waiting. we're going to see if this Marylanders are smart people. I mean, if you're a Marylander, I have no disrespect to you. I'm just saying, I'm just reacting to this ballot measure that is being pushed by a lot of people. One fair wage. It's just ridiculous. These are socialists. They want to scam you. And they're, in the end of the day, going to cost you millions. So I would not buy into this. The next story we're going to take a look at is Minnesota. And this hit very hard to a lot of Minnesotans as the biggest welfare scandal has officially, it has begun in American history, and it's here in Minnesota. And it's mind-boggling because it was exposed that the terrorist group, mostly the African terrorist group, Al-Shabaab, has received majority of its funds from Minnesota taxpayers. That is me. And that is you also if you're from Minnesota. You have been paying for Al-Shabaab to butcher, behead, and crucify Christians in the Horn of Africa. Without any knowledge without any knowledge. Minnesota government knew about this. And Tim Walz is indeed responsible. I believe yesterday, it's either the state of Minnesota, the state delegation, Republicans, they are holding an investigation into the Walz administration. Because best believe this is a state that is controlled by the DFL, the Democratic Party of Minnesota, and they are responsible. Could you imagine if Republicans were sending funds to a terrorist group? I keep running into these Democrats that continue to compare Republicans to the Taliban. I'm like, oh jeez, I thought you guys said we were Islamophobic. But now we know who they really support. And let's be honest. It's the Democrats were not openly funding Al-Shabaab. It's the fact that they were neglectful on watching where these funds were going. So you do have a lot of Somali nationals in the state of Minnesota. And Minnesota has, of course, the largest Somali population in the United States. And a lot of these Somalis, they shouldn't be doing this, but a lot of them are bringing their money home to their families. Okay? That is the problem with welfare. We give you a check, and it turns out the check doesn't stay in the United States. It goes to your home country. That's ridiculous. Okay? This is the problem with welfare. And it looks like we have a much bigger problem because apparently a proportion of the people that are getting welfare checks are not even actually citizens or legitimate people that intend to build a life here in Minnesota. Their intentions are to support the Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda-linked terrorist group. Now, it's important to say, does that make every Somali citizen, Somalian in Minnesota or elsewhere, guilty? Well, not really. I mean, unless you are outright being reckless and throwing money back to Somalia, you are part of the blame. And obviously, I don't need to say that. I do not need to say that the fact that you are supporting a terrorist group openly and endorsing Al-Shabaab, that's duh. You should be removed from the country. And speaking of removed from the country, President Trump rightfully removed the immigration protective status of Somalian citizens, meaning that no, they're not all getting packed up and removed like Ilhan Omar is suggesting. No. So the immigration protective status basically says there are certain groups of people we can't deport. The United States can't deport, like Somalis, okay? They are eligible for that protective status. That protects them from deportation. Basically, the United States recognizes them as refugees because they are fleeing a war, okay? They are basically, they're different compared to illegal immigrants because, A, these illegal immigrants come from everywhere. These Somalians, we do know, are fleeing a country of war. And they're fleeing a country of war that has been engulfed in civil war for over 40 years. So, we put them on whoever flees Somalia to the United States, they're protected from deportation. We removed that today, and the Democrats are whining and crying about it. But hey, guess what? You have a scandal this big where our money, Minnesotan taxpayer dollars, are going to a terrorist group. Now, we're not talking about Antifa. We're talking about actual jihadists. You can't call this group a liberation group. No, you can't call it a resistance group. They are a terrorist group. They have a reputation of killing Christians and committing genocide against Christians. And if you are Christian, you should be outraged that your taxpayer dollars in Minnesota are going to this terrorist group. So what are the consequences for this? Well, here's the deal. I don't have much expectations for Minnesota, unfortunately. Now, Tim Walz is running for re-election. And Tim Walz is doing something that no Minnesotan governor has done before, and that is running and winning a third term. If he wins re-election, he will officially become the longest-serving governor in Minnesota state history. He will do what no Minnesota governor has ever done, and that is win a third term. That's why I do think it's a little bit of a stretch. But hey, I mean, with Trump in the White House, you have Minneapolis and St. Paul. It doesn't matter. They'll vote for Tampon Tim in order to spite Trump. So I do think Walz is going to win. And even with this scandal, I don't even think, unless the backlash goes skyrocketing, it's already bad. We have been talking about the scandal for a long time. The second part of the scandal, which is the figuring out this welfare is actually going to Al-Qaeda, made it 10 times worse, was exposed yesterday, 3 days ago. So, DFL, Walz administration has been facing a lot of backlash the last month. It's gotten worse. But the question is, it's not about backlash, it's about turnout. And if you want to defeat Tim Walz, if you want to defeat the Democrats next year in Minnesota, you got to show up and vote. And that's why Republicans need to pick a candidate that is going to resonate with the average Republican in Minnesota. I would suggest a Trump Republican. And now I want to make it clear, I'm not aiming, and we shouldn't aim to win Minnesota. 4 years ago, I was just so fantasized and obsessed with flipping Minnesota red that, I didn't really care about how the United States did how Republicans did in the midterms. I could care less. Really, I could care less. And so much to my dismay, we ended up losing. But hey, I mean, yeah, these candidates are not doing good. Actually, the best one is Scott Jensen so far. And the thing about Scott Jensen is the reason why he's doing better is we're more familiar with this guy than not. He was the 2022 nominee. Despite what a lot of people said about Jensen, oh, his campaign was weak, blah, 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 blah. No, he actually garnished a lot of momentum, although turnout was lower. Yeah, he drew a lot of rally. He drew a crowd. I was at one of his rallies. It was huge, and there were a lot of Trump Republicans out there. It was that, Scott Jensen didn't embrace Trump enough, okay? And he was more establishment, and he walked back on the abortion. That didn't help him at all. So, and yeah, Trump endorsed him, but Jensen didn't embrace it. He pretended that, that didn't happen. And he did win one poll, although it was extremely close. But yeah, I mean, I think, he's running again. Am I open to him running? I mean, hey, I don't think neither of those candidates are going to flip Minnesota. But I think, out of them all, Jensen has a better chance, mostly because we're more familiar with him. All these candidates, never heard of these candidates before. They're getting destroyed by Walz by double digits, except for Kristen Robbins, who seems to be more Trump-aligned. You'll see she's already doing a little bit better. And she was the first one to come out and make a statement on this. So, obviously, yeah, I don't think we're flipping Minnesota, but can we make it compatible? Maybe. We got to see how bad the scandal gets. I mean, it's breaking. Like, I don't know if everyone's talking about it. I mean, who is not talking about it? We're talking about your taxpayer dollars going to terrorist groups in Africa. This is how bad it is. This is how bad it is. So I'm just going to do another Walz versus Jensen scenario. Going back to the old times of 2022, I remember when I used to be doing those on my old channel, which no longer exists, but the delusional Jensen landslide over Walz, which was, but yeah, I already have my envision in mind. Really, it's about Rice County, because Rice County is a Trump county, but it votes Democratic in governor races and in other races. And really, the question is turnout. That's what matters when it comes to Rice County. Can Jensen flip Rice County? Yes, but to be fair, Jensen did lose Rice County. Not by a little bit. He lost it by a lot. Okay? He lost Rice County by a lot. And that was part of the reason was because of turnout. So, I do think it's a little bit closer, but you do have college communities like Northfield. That's part of the reason why Rice County is so compatible. You got this big college community called Northfield, Minnesota. You got St. Olaf College. That makes the city 70% Democratic. And Northfield makes up half of the county's population. And now, obviously, we're guessing you don't have to win Rice County in order to win the election. Yeah, Rice County voted more Democratic than Clay County, which voted for Kamala Harris. That's crazy. 6 points for Tampon Tim. So this is what we're up against. Believe it or not. Although Rice County is making a shift to the right, according to the 2018 performance. So there is a chance that, hey, if turnout's good, because there is a big city called Faribault, Minnesota, which is a Trump city. Jensen won that city. That's part of the reason why this county isn't a Democratic stronghold. It's cities like Faribault, which is the biggest city. but I'm trying to find the county results for 2018 because, yeah, I do think we'll try to pull up Minnesota County. There we go. All right, let's see what the governor's race has to say. Rice County, yeah, 52 to 43%. This was the result. Yeah, Faribault, that's the city. 50%, 45% for Jeff Johnson. Yeah, 72% for Northfield. And then you also have the city of Dundas and Bridgewater. Very rural county, by the way. Rural, but just college community makes it very compatible. And I don't know. I think this county will go to Jensen just due to the backlash and just the Tim Walz reputation going downhill. But I do think that this race is pretty much in favor for Tim Walz and the Democrats. But really it's about, are they going to gain more or are they going to lose more? Because 2018, Walz lost by a little bit. He didn't overperform his 2018. He lost counties, and mainly his rural counties from 18. But the question is, seeing that he ran as the vice president for Kamala Harris, lost his own county of Blue Earth, and now he's running in 2026. And now he's still being called Tampon Tim. Not that actually matters. But this is a different Tim Walz than a Tim Walz in 2022, because this Tim Walz of 2022 was well liked by young men. This Tim Walz of 2022 was liked by men with normal testosterone levels. Okay? Heck, he won Trump counties. How many Trump counties did he win? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Over 11 counties? Not to mention picking an extraordinary amount of Trump votes. Let's keep in mind, these are like 60%. These are like going into the 50% for Jeff Johnson. So he picked up a lot of Trump votes. They're all gone. And 2022, you get more darker red here, obviously. So he's losing ground. So I don't doubt that the race will be closer compared to 2022. I predict that Wallace will win by 5. But I think Minnesota is staying blue. I mean, our state is done. It's cooked. I mean, it's sad. I mean, we've gotten to that point where we're funding terrorist groups with our own taxpayer dollars. Al-Shabaab. But and if this doesn't get any more news, if no one talks about this and this just flies under the radar after 3 days, our state is cooked. We are cooked. And if our voters are that weak, we can't even go out to hold Walz accountable. Yeah, honestly, we know he's going to win. This is a blue state. But I'm just saying, we're cooked. It's ridiculous. Okay, so Minnesota, I thought talk about Minnesota would be interesting. But let's go ahead and talk about the last topic of the day, and that is the California governor's race. And looking at where things stand now, it's actually looking unprecedentedly very, very close. And you're just seeing Katie Porter just win by 2.7% in an open primary. And the reason why we're talking about this California open primary is just because it's looking extremely unprecedentedly very close. And I do think that overall, Real American Politics posted a video saying that, Republicans could pull off the impossible. And could doesn't mean will. Okay? In the end of the day, you have two Republicans neck and neck, battling to face off against Katie Porter. But what if Katie Porter underperformed significantly? So much that she gets into third place. And you have Blanco and Hilton in first and second place. You know what that means? It's nightmare scenario for Democrats. It's over. It means you got a Republican versus Republican race. And the reason why we're talking about that is, and it's getting more attention, because we got more Democrats joining the race. Eric Swalwell, or AKA Eric Swalwell, it has come out and he has announced his campaign. Okay? He has announced his campaign for governor. And this can very well lead to things getting more heated, more compatible. But Democrats need to be wary. The more candidates you're putting in, the more divided your base is going to become. Because best believe, these Democrats act like Republicans can't win. Republicans can't win. Republicans can't win all these at-large races. It's impossible. Yes, they can. We've seen it multiple times. For example, let's take a look at the California race for, I want to believe, was it treasurer? It was one of them. Yeah, it's comptroller, but there's Lan Hee Chen. Look at this. Lan Hee Chen getting 37.22%, with Melia Cohen with 22%, and Yulvine Yao with 15.06%. So it can happen. You'll see. Look at this. This is your open primary result. Los Angeles goes red. San Diego. And part of the reason, yeah, sure, Republicans were a united ticket. But you see, you got 4 Democrats running. 4 Democrats. And 4 Democrats was enough to result in Lee Chen getting first place. Now, Democrats didn't need to freak out, right? Because they got their gal, and Malia Cohen, in the race. And it's pretty much inevitable. Just because Lan Hee Chen wins the primary doesn't mean, the open primary doesn't mean that he's going to win the general election. No. Although, Lan Hee Chen overperformed significantly. This is a severe underperformance. 55% in California? Are you kidding me? That's all you can do? So it was an embarrassment for Malia Cohen. But obviously, I'm predicting somewhat. I'm not even saying I'm going to predict. I don't know. I really do not know how this is going to work. I do think Katie Porter will win the primary, even though it's hard to imagine. We're talking about an unhinged, mentally unstable woman who is a psychopath, really. She abuses her husband. She abuses her staff members. She is dropping in the polls like crazy. And we're talking about her being governor. It's ridiculous. But hey, California, just like Minnesota, just like Virginia, crazy states, right? Yeah, and look at this. Too many Democrats. You do have Democrats that have withdrawn. You're going to see a lot more withdraw in the next couple of days. I do think the establishment is saying, okay, your field is getting way too big. Let's see. You got Republicans. They already have a list, but not as much as Dems. Like, look at this. So it's very possible that Democrats, this is too close. This is too close. And the fact that you have the Republican Hilton following in third place, all Porter needs to do is drop a little bit more. We still have a lot of time till the open primary in March, I believe. Drop a little bit down below and get these two in, and there you go. It's a Republican versus Republican race. But Democrats could and successfully push a write-in campaign for a certain Democrat. But the question is, who? Are you going to write in Kennedy Porter? Are you going to write in some candidate? Can you actually get away with writing Gavin Newsom in? It bars you from running for a third term. But there's nothing, maybe if he wins the election by write-in, I'm talking about Gavin Newsom here, I doubt he would. I think still the Constitution bars him from being governor. So now you have a constitutional crisis. But yeah, I do think the write-in campaign for Democrats would be a stretch. I think it's over. It's over. So Democrats need to get their act together. Yeah, they're getting too comfortable. So they're talking about blue wave in 2026, but I'm saying, blue wave? You lost California, guys. Come on. And don't even talk about blue wave when you can't even get double digits in New York. Come on. No, if you want to convince me that you're going to get a blue wave, just at least convince me that Kathy Hochul's going to win by a landslide like she's supposed to. Come on. Otherwise, I'm not seeing it. You might have a Democrat favorable year. That's likely going to be the scenario. But blue wave, come on. Republicans didn't get a red wave. Mainly because the maps were not in their favor. And the maps are definitely in your favor this year. So, let's go ahead and do a prediction of the open primary. Here. We'll put down Porter. Last time we did a video of this was, I want to believe in October. I think it was September. We had a blowout for Katie Porter. I'm not going to say it's a blowout anymore. I do think... I don't know. Because, let's see. Chad Bianco, I believe he's a sheriff from San Bernardino County. No, Riverside County, that's it. So, Bianco, I would say, is the Republican nominee, in my observation. Obviously, you do have Hilton, who I will put in as in red. I don't know where he's coming from, though. But Porter, yeah, I believe she loses some county. We're going to have to see, but Riverside County will project goes to Bianco. Hilton. Yeah, he is a political advisor. But where is he coming from, though? Yeah. Um. Nevertheless, I do think Bianco will win in Imperial. I do think he will win in San Diego County also. Uh, Porter. Uh, let's be honest. I don't even think she can win in Orange County at this point. It's just a lot of split ticketing. But this is, of course, going to be my open primary prediction. Obviously, I think there's just going to be too much Democrat split ticketing that it actually looks like it's going to be a Republican blowout. But obviously, um, it won't be that. Uh, but I think it looks very similar to something like this. I think Hilton comes close, third place, but not enough to win a county yet. But oh, this is this one. Okay. Lake County, that was not Yolo County. That's going to be Democrat. But yeah, I do think it looks for something similar to the 2024 Senate race. Yeah, you have basically the primary results. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Adam Schiff technically won the primary. And there were a lot of Democrats. So let's remember, I do think that, for sure, I do think Bianco is going to go in first place. Just because too many Democrats. Of course, I could be wrong with that. But there is a good chance Democrats can still prevail. But yeah, this is something. This is what I'm thinking it's going to look like as of right now. I don't really have any evidence or proof to suggest, like, where would Hilton pick up a county? That's a very difficult question to ask. I mean, like, we'll go ahead and give this county too. That's a very difficult question to ask. Like, where does he come from? Where does he reside? I would imagine more of the urban areas. You could say he wins more in the conservative areas, like these areas. Wow, no, this looks like a goofy result, though. Although I do think Bianco is just going to be favored. And the question is, is it really realistic to have it look exactly like the primary result for the open primary result for the Senate? Is it really that realistic? I don't think it is. What can we change to make it a little bit different? Yeah, I mean, Porter couldn't even win her own county. Keep in mind, she can't even win her own county. I mean, San Diego County, Imperial County was more compatible than Orange County. And it's proven to be very conservative in state elections. So I doubt that she's going to go and pick that up. So really, I'm not sure. I could say, let's see here. Yeah, you got these counties here. You could say Bianco wins this county. It's possible. Oh yeah, and you also have, well, I would say Sacramento. Okay, this looks fair, although it looks a little weird. But this is kind of my map. I have Sacramento County going for Porter, even though it went for Garvey. Well, that's difficult to say too, huh? I'll just give it to Bianco. This is kind of my blanket primary result. It's a close one. I do think Bianco will win the blanket primary. And obviously, in a Porter-Bianco race, Porter's going to win, but by how much? That's the real question. How much? And let's be, yeah, I would even say this county is up for grabs also. Like, there's just too much Democrat split ticketing. So this is kind of what I think it's going to look like. So those are our races, folks. 3 states, 3 disasters for Democrats, 3 issues they got to work on. But the question is, can those issues hold them back? I think they can overcome it. And really, this year proved that, a crazy Jay Jones can't stop Democrats from sweeping Virginia. A crazy word salad, Mikey Sherrill can't prevent Democrats from sweeping New Jersey. So what's to stop them in 2026? I guess we're going to have to find out in 2026 once we get there. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.